What's happening, everybody? Bailey Kramer here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you the best channel manager to use if you're starting an Airbnb co-hosting business. So first off, what is a co-host? A co-host is somebody who manages the day-to-day operations of an Airbnb for an owner, and in exchange for that, you get 20% of the gross revenue. This number is just negotiable, but 20% is typically what we shoot for. This is not rental arbitrage. So I know if you've heard of rental arbitrage, know that this is different. The real main difference is with co-hosting, there's no money upfront, really just the cost of an LLC, and it is super, super scalable, where we're simply just managing Airbnbs for owners, again, in exchange for a percentage of the revenue. So that's a little bit about what co-hosting is. Now, what is a channel manager, right? That's what we're going to be talking about here. So a channel manager is a tool that, first of all, it'll make your life like a million times easier if you're running an Airbnb. Even if you're a co-host or you own properties or you do arbitrage, a channel manager is going to make your life a million times easier. Things that it does, and what a channel manager actually is, it's something that, number one, it'll automate guest communication with your guest. So for example, when your guests inquire about your property, when the day before they check into your property, it'll send them messages automatically to enhance the guest experience. Number two, it'll sync your calendar together from different platforms like Airbnb, Vrbo, direct booking. So you don't have to go look at these different websites. You can just look at the channel manager and see everything you need all in one place. It'll also automate a lot of the communication with your cleaner. So whenever you get a booking, instead of you texting and calling your cleaner, hey, we just got a new booking, are you able to clean? It'll automatically text them for you. And again, it'll sync prices and everything across all platforms into one central spot. So channel manager, it's a non-negotiable. I don't care if you have one property, a million properties, you need a channel manager. The real big question is, Bailey, which channel manager is best? And let me start with this. They all have issues. There's no one single perfect channel manager that is just pure perfection. They all have issues. So I just like to get that out up front, because a lot of the times people are looking for that perfect solution. There's no such thing. I'm going to show you which one's the best, but just know that they all have issues. So just so you know, I've done plenty of trial and error myself. I've used Guesty for Pros. I've used Hostaway. I've used Hospitable. I've checked out Hostfully. And I've done demos with OwnerRez, Lodgify, tons of the other big name channel managers. So I'm saying this from experience, not from just my random opinion, okay? The best channel manager to use is Hospitable, especially if you're just starting out. I can say that with 100% confidence. If you're just starting out your Airbnb hosting business, use Hospitable. Here's why. Here's some pros with Hospitable that differentiate it from the other ones. Number one, it's the easiest to set up. From the moment you sign up for Hospitable to the moment you're all ready to go, it's about an hour or two. Versus the other platforms I'll talk about in a little bit, they could take weeks to set up because they have onboarding processes, onboarding fees, crazy stuff. So super easy to set up. It's the lowest price as well. So cheapest one out there, lowest price. Love that too. They also have a free trial. So lowest price and free trial, can't beat it. It's the easiest to use. The interface is so nice. It's not clunky. It's very modern. It's really easy to use. It has the best automated messaging. So again, really easy to set up the automated messages, super clear and concise. And they also help you have a lot of the messages already set up so that you can just turn them on and get started super fast. And then another thing is they have a direct integration with Schlage and Yale. So what Schlage and Yale are is they are smart locks. So when your guest checks in, you want to make sure that they have a different code than the previous guest. Hospitable makes it super easy by directly integrating with Schlage and Yale, basically allowing you to easily change the locks automatically without you having to even think about it. Now, on the cons, of course, Hospitable, again, is not perfect. Here are the two biggest negatives that I would want to know before signing up for Hospitable. And of course, I already use them now, so I know these things, but I'm sharing these things for you. So number one, direct booking feature is new. Their direct booking feature is new. It works, but is it the greatest thing in the whole wide world? No. There's other platforms that have better direct booking features. But does Hospitable get the job done? Yes. So it's good enough. It's not perfect, but again, just something I wanted to share. And then number two, their connection with Verbo is not perfect either. So what happens with Hospitable sometimes is it'll disconnect from Verbo. So essentially with Hospitable, you connected to Airbnb, you connected to Verbo. Sometimes it gets disconnected from Verbo. All you have to do is press on this reconnect button and it'll reconnect. So again, it's not a deal breaker. It's just something that I would want to know before signing up for software like this. It does, again, have some issues, but the fixes are super easy and they are not deal breakers by any means. Major pitfalls of the other channel managers that I mentioned, like Guesty, Hostaway, Hostfully, that I dislike about those platforms. These things are things that are not true about Hospitable. So Hospitable is like the opposite of these. So here's some pitfalls of the other ones like Guesty and Hostaway. Their integration with Verbo can take a couple weeks. I've literally waited over a month for my Verbo account to integrate with my Guesty account. So it takes a long time. Even if they say, oh, it only take a week or two, I've heard it too many times. It takes at least a couple weeks, if not a month or more. You can only integrate one Verbo account with platforms like Guesty and Hostaway. Again, as a co-host, that's kind of a problem for me because if I take on a new client who already has a Verbo account and property set up, it's a lot easier to just say, oh, cool, let's just plug that right into our Hospitable account rather than having to migrate their property over to my Verbo account. It's a headache. So I like that Hospitable, you can have unlimited Verbo accounts, whereas Guesty, Hostaway, these platforms, you can only have one. These softwares are pricey. Can't say enough about it. Ridiculous onboarding fees, ridiculous ongoing monthly fees, ridiculous. Clunky interface, it's like doesn't look new. It looks like you're using something from like 20 years ago. So I don't like the interface, super clunky, overpriced, not a fan. Next question. When should you get set up with Hospitable? I say once you get your first co-hosting client, only then should you actually sign up and get started with Hospitable. You don't need to sign up for Hospitable right now if you don't have any properties. Get your co-hosting client first, and then once you have them, sign up for Hospitable. Again, to get it set up, it only takes an hour or two, so you don't have to get it all set up and then get a client. Get a client first, and then set it up. And if you're like, Bailey, I need help finding a co-hosting client and doing this whole thing, I have a completely free mini course on how you can start a co-hosting business in the description below. So go ahead and grab that. Again, it's completely free. I'll also leave a link to Hospitable. It'll give you a discount if you do decide to use them. Again, I'm not like affiliated with them. This is like truthfully just me sharing my honest opinion about which one's the best and which one I use. I use Hospitable for my business. I recommend all my students use Hospitable as well. So if you want to use my referral link, you'll get a little discount. I'll get a little kickback. Awesome. Also, again, that completely free mini course down below on how to start a co-hosting business. Hope you guys got a ton of value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.